So tell me more about that experience for you of like the transition from the US to Jamaica.
Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of abrupt. Yeah, as I said, like things weren't aligning, so ended up coming back. And essentially it was it was kind of an iffy thing of like, you know, maybe I said 2 weeks and then figure out something else after that, and then the 2 week trip turned into what year we're in 2024. Yeah, 2 week trip turned into 4 years. You know, and yeah, but I'm very happy I'm here. It was just kind of, you know, what's funny is that because of how abrupt it was, like I had like a ton of stuff that was just kind of in the yard, and I didn't get to like get them back here until like a year later. Yeah, it's because of the pandemic, lock off everything.
Yeah.
There's no mobility for anything, so just kind of, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I came back, and you know, the great thing about what I do and stuff, like I was only really working at the galleries just to kind of like have some form of stability while I got myself off the ground. And yeah, I came back and just, you know, continued what I could do.
Yeah.
While I was in college, I was also like, my contribution in being studying abroad was, you know, I would find my rent and find my living expenses.
Got you.
So I, you know, I was doing design work or doing illustration work on the side, and I was working on campus as well. I didn't really have much of a choice of any of those things because like there's only so many hours you can work on campus, and you can't pay rent with just that the full time. So yeah, that was kind of also, I guess, like also being involved in the community there. Just kind of translated well into the business that I currently run called Solas Inc. And yeah, that's what I've been doing since 2018 till now.
Crazy. So I don't think I digested that you started the work there, right? Or like the portfolio of work that you were doing at that time is, you know, what laid the foundation for the work you've been doing here. Tell us more about that. Tell us more about Solas Inc. Tell us more about being a creative director. Tell us more about what it is that you do and what your days look like and how they vary.
Yeah. So as I said, 2018 started formally registered Solas Inc. As just a creative business. It started out as just me just kind of doing whatever design jobs or doing whatever creative jobs I could get at the time. And that turned into me trying to, you know, strategize and figure out the best way to scale and take on bigger projects. And that included, you know, getting more people involved and hiring people on contract as needed. So yeah, so essentially after doing everything design center that I could get my hands on, kind of narrowed it down into like 3 sub industries, which is branding and design, creative direction for recording artists especially, so, you know, album covers, animation, video, tour assets, merchandise, all that kind of stuff. And then that turned, and then also public art, so murals and that kind of thing. So yeah, and then you know, you post things online, people call you. Yeah, that's the vibe.
That's an amazing vibe. So many vibes. Okay, let's not downplay. This is a lot of work happening here. Okay, so I want you to tell us a little bit, or tell us your favorite of each of those sub-industries. Like you told me, but I want you to tell everybody again. The works. So
I don't remember what to tell you. So
alright. So let's go in then, or just tell us some things that you've done that you might recognize in each from Solas Inc. specifically.
Yeah. Well, probably like the first thing that people would probably recognize. I actually done the cover for Pine and Ginger.
If you don't know what Pine and Ginger is, that earworm of a song, an earworm is not a negative term, okay? If you've never heard Pine and Ginger, which has done amazing things internationally, go listen to it, go look it, and the artwork is done by yours truly.
Yeah, that would have been like one of the first things. Tess and I we actually ended up being roommates in LA. He was one of the friends.
I was just gonna ask because I know he's based in LA. Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
He's back on foot.
Got you.
Tess. So I roomed with Tess, Zach Jones, and producer named Chris Harris.
Okay.
And it was a good time. But anyways, that was one of the things we've done. We've done work for like Hector Rose Lewis, also for Runkus, Sean Paul, Protege.
Slowly, Hector Roots Lewis, who is in the one, I guess by the time this airs, the movie would have been out already, but the One Love Bob Marley movie, and he's a drummer for Chronics, I believe, and you said Runkus and
Protege. Sean Paul. It's like a nice.
And which album, Joshua? Is it the Grammy-nominated album, Joshua?
It is Grammy-nominated.
Yeah, and Runkus as well. So his work has contributed to the, I guess, recognition of some of those works, and I think the work is stunning. Not just saying that because he's my guest, but I think that it's really, I think with album and cover art, you want something that really speaks to the project, and I think you speak about aligning a lot, and I think you do a good job of aligning. So those are artists, and are there any other projects that you want to highlight that you've worked on?
We did Lost in Time Festival, so I helped out with the look and feel or that, and some of the stage visuals for the concert as well. We restored the coat of arms, the metal, I guess, structure outside of the National Stadium. So we did that during Jamaica 60.
What kind of work does that entail? Because it's not just painting, right? You have to prepare the structure for...
Yeah, so we scraped off some of the old paint, whatever we could manage within the time. And then it's oil-based paint, so we just kind of went over it as best we could. But yeah, it was just kind of not to downplay, but yeah, it was a spruce-up job. There's that, the mural, the Tutsiper mural downtown, in the back of the F&B building on Walton Lane.
So, pause. If you ever get to visit downtown Kingston, it has many murals now, and Toots Hibbert, which you may or may not know, is a popular reggae artist, iconic, and they did the mural of him, and tell us more about like the detail work.
Yeah, so so it was an attempt to capture his likeness, but also the energy that he kind of put into his music, and he's known for his very electric performances. But he had passed away due to COVID-related complications during the pandemic, and so Kingston created at a very small open call, and we got through and painted this mural essentially that, as I said, it's his likeness, but it's actually, his face is actually made up of album titles or song titles, single titles, and then around it are embellishments of newsprint embedded into the wall, as well as more song lyrics and song titles. It's an interesting job.
Yes, that's so cool.
Commissioned by Kingston Creative, if I didn't say that.
Yeah, big up Kingston Creative. You guys are doing amazing work for creatives in the country. Okay, so you also kind of run a gallery. Let's talk about that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so in 20... It's something I've been kind of thinking about from time. But I would say I started to seriously think about it in 2019, 2020. Yeah, about 2020. Actually build out the branding for it and everything from that time. And in the following years when I saw the opportunity to actually start. But essentially, this gallery platform was birthed out of response to a need in the space. I felt like, we have so many, well, we don't have that many gallery spaces in Kingston especially, and not that many that are, that have a genuine initiative to share new artists, or just like contemporary works of not to say that they're not doing that at all, but like I think that like the lack of spaces means that there's going to be a gap in the kinds of work that are being presented to the public, and especially a gallery that has really wants to give us an opportunity to show their work and get it sold. So and essentially it was birthed out to the need that like I needed a space to sell my work through. I didn't think it made sense to just like come over, and just sell the work. So I already have a platform. Let me just make the most out of it. So create this thing called BadArtGallery for the art bud. And the mission is to really showcase the baddest art in the country. Some of the baddest artists, and essentially it's an attempt to give informal gallery representation so that artists can go and get representation elsewhere. It's just a kind of a dumping off point. We show I'm looking forward to showing a wide range of works from a wide range of artists. We did basically a proof of concept by showing some of my work over the past year. So I've done 2 shows and they did pretty well, both socially and financially. We actually sold a good amount of the works that that were on show in the shows. So it's an online platform right now, and we do pop-ups essentially to engage with the public. So the main thing is join the mailing list. You can get the latest on what we're doing. You can see all the group shows that we're planning to do in the coming year. And if you need we have a wide range of stuff. Things that are in the $3,000 US range to things that are at $200 Jamaica. It's a decent range of stuff. So
That's awesome. And so you did say, for example, for artists who are interested in reaching out, you did say you have one condition. It was about the current, like within 5 years, you said?
Yeah.
You want fresh stuff.
Yeah, we try to keep it pretty fresh. I know. I think that like there's only so much that you can do with work, or there's only so much impact that investing works of people who have long gone can do. I think that people who are making work now should be made priority. So my interests are works that are made within the past 5 years. But that's not to say that they're not works that are exceptional and made long before that. That's my main interest at the moment.
Okay. Wait, you said you didn't have locks. When did you get locks?
I started them during college.
Oh, during okay.
2017.
Okay.
2016.
Okay. Cool. Just curious. All right. So let's ink Bad Art. Is there anything else that we should know about what's going on in life here since being back?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that's always happening. My fine art is as well, so I paint and draw mostly. I do photo and video art pieces as well as performance art. Um, yeah, it's a vibe. I mean, if you follow BadArtGallery, then you'll see all of those things. But yeah, other than that, I'm just cooling. I'm at the beach very often.
Love that.
I like to sleep and see my friends.
That's awesome.
That's a summary.
That's awesome. I'm also here friends in the creative space as well, or just different industries.
Yeah, most of them are in creative space, some are not.
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was it hard to reconnect when you came back from Jamaica? Are there a lot of the same people from before you left, or since coming back it's kind of like a new set of people?
Oh, it's a mix. I feel like you meet people by way of work or not, or by the internet. I have a lot of really good friends that I didn't make friends. I didn't become actual friends with them. Sorry, Boris, sir, chill out.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You'll hear my parents from Boris from time to time. He's a pop and he's very exuberant, and we love him. He's been really sweet to us, and so if you hear a dog, that's all that is.
Yeah, he really wants to come in. So.
He does. He wants to be a part of the interview.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a decent mix of friends that we met online before we met in person. Just because I was abroad. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess as we kind of start to wrap up, I want to know more about if you have any tips for aspiring artists or aspiring creative directors, people who want to do their own thing and enter a space in like a developing country like Jamaica. What are some tips that you have for them? If you could give like a top 3.
Top 3. Well, to the point about being in a developing country, the industry is very underdeveloped in certain ways. So that's something to take advantage of. But at the same time, something to be very mindful of as well, because if you're in this industry, you are chances are you have to wear various hats on one project. You have to be mindful of how much energy you're investing in these projects where that is concerned. So you can often just pick your buttons, pick what you actually want, and be very specific and very deliberate about what your personal scope is when you enter this space. That's simple, just do it. Nobody's asking you for any of these things, but nobody's making any either. So if you want something, just do it. Hope for the best. And I think just hope for the best, make sure it's going. You are the one having the power to make sure that things going. And sleep. And make time for sleep. You're a human being. Don't play yourself. You drive a car, you drive it around whole week, you have to stop the gas at some point. You're not gonna just reach where you're gonna be off of things. You have to stop the gas. So before you get out the street, get some rest. And it's not just sleep, not talk about rest your brain, rest your spirit and all them stuff there. Like learn to make time for yourself. Resting is also resting, because you don't make time for rest means you're busy. And people say, ask me if you're busy, yeah, you're busy asleep, nothing wrong. You know what I mean? I have a lot more, but yeah.
No, please, literally, that's what this is for. I want this to be a resource for anybody, so go right ahead.
Alright, let's do this. Yeah, those are the main ones I think about right now. My thing is, I'm a lot more. I've come to realize that like the entrepreneurial bug isn't something that infects everybody. Most people in the creative space, and even if it is a case where like you're somebody that wants $1 bajillion by the time you did, that $1 bajillion don't mean nothing if you don't have a full life. So balance. It don't make sense to reach whatever your big goals are and have any energy to even like reap the benefits of those things. You don't have the mental capacity to enjoy those things or just for recreation, which is something I'm realizing more and more is so important. You know, I'm approaching 30 and feel as though I don't have no hobbies. Like my job is my hobby. I need to find something else. But yeah, I guess I'll let dog know, as you can hear. So he's one of my
Hobbies. Oh, he's a full-time job. Yes.
Sir, we're soon done.
We're almost done. He's coming. Yeah. No, that's great. Joshua was preaching, okay? He was preaching. Listen, the sleep, the self-care, the taking time even in a creative space, in a creative field, you need time away from the work so that you can come back fresh and you can come back to create even more. So I guess I have two last questions. The first one is about if there was anything you saw done when you were in the US in a creative space, in the galleries, in school, that you think could be implemented here on a public scale, what would that be?
I think most of the things that need to be done most urgently are things where it's just like cultural perception generally. I don't think anything can be effective unless we have a general shift in mindset, which I am seeing. I think there's a general understanding of what creative value is and how it benefits society. Just even a general attitude towards compensation has shifted a lot in the past couple of years. Lots of things that I do now where like what my peers are doing wrong would not be possible 5-10 years ago.
Facts. What do you mean you want to get paid for making this poster? What do you mean?
Yeah, unthinkable. But yeah, like, it's not something that you're asking your cousin for the
right.
Something that you're asking
a professional. He went to school for these people. Pay up.
And even if I didn't,
right? It's work that's done.
Yeah. So big up all my self-taught people. You know what I mean? Like,
facts.
School not for everybody.
Facts.
But the reality is that there's a general shift. We could be doing more. I'm very happy to be here while the shift is happening. I always said that was part of why I thought I came out here. I felt like maybe there's a bit more work to be done as far as that cultural shift needs to happen. But thankfully, like we're on track. I came right on time. I feel it. But things that we could do. I mean, it does lie in that cultural shift, but also there's we need to be making more spaces. As we've been saying, we need more formal dialogue as it regards to what we're doing here, what this thing is. I think that there's a lot of like movements that are going undocumented in the creative space. Things I would highlight are things like the mural boom that happened, that kind of jolted out before the pandemic, and then kind of got a boost post-pandemic. Just the general film and how the film industry and how investment in the film industry is going to help the rest of the community. Things like the decentralizing of the economics of the music industry as well. Like in the creative space, from my observation, it's a lot on not peer reviewed, but in my observation, creative space is funded by the music, and while that's great and all, and the music then feeds everybody else, they're feeding film, they're feeding the visual artists, they're feeding designers, they're feeding stylists, fashion, everybody. While that's happening, we also have very powerful and very strong influence in all those other aspects as well. But they're not seeing the kind of return that music is. And I think that if we can shift focus, not necessarily to like outshine music, but let's just say, alright, well also we'll have some really powerful conversations happening in the fine art space. We'll have some very powerful conversations being had in film as well. We're not a very exceptional Jamaican filmmakers and Jamaica diaspora, or people who are in the diaspora as well, who are making great film and great content in general. And I feel as though if we're able to, as I said, decentralize the financing of music to just kind of spread out a bit more, in a more equitable way, I think it'll be all beneficial from it. The tourism industry can't play by my own so much. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of other things, and if you really want make people know that we're more than a beach and Bagman and smoking weed. Like show them that, show them what else to do.
People just was preaching today.
Again, it's not to say that conversation is not being had.
Right.
It is, but when you
Let's not get that.
push a little harder.
Yeah. No, that's so real. I appreciate that. All right. So on that note, I will have one last question, and that is if you could give 3 tips for people who are thinking about going home, wherever home may be. They left home and they're thinking about coming back. Right? You give it from your perspective. So you kind of left abruptly, you left just before the pandemic, all these things. But give 3 tips for people to prepare if they're coming back.
Okay, I'm going to try and not phrase it as a brain drain thing, because I'm sure that argument is something that just does not work on you if you're thinking to stay abroad. But the reality is that people want to be here. People are happy to have you here. People are happy to have your expertise. I am somebody who just generally I just don't work in the employment network. Me personally, that's just me. Not to say that I wouldn't do that later on in life. So I'm somebody who has had to make space for myself. And I think that like if you go abroad and if you had enough guts and enough like initiative to go and set up shop elsewhere, chances are you have enough guts and enough set up shop here, or wherever you're from. Make it work if you really want to make it work. And the thing is, there is some novelty in living elsewhere. So everybody's like, oh, you live abroad? Okay, cool. So it's a lot easier to get things done. Just for that very reason.
Especially in developing countries.
Yeah, for sure. I would share as well. Sorry that it was second something that I didn't share. So, and so I had to do some work on in college. It's called the culture game, or it brings up, I don't know what it's actually called, but it cites this thing called the culture game. And what it purports is that it cites 3 instances of artists who lived somewhere that was not their home. They're going to work in somewhere that's not their home, and their experiences in that. I feel like my professor was kind of being dismissive because I was in the class, but I don't know. Anyways, it only really applied to me, so so it was like, okay, it's interesting. But big up art history. But yeah, the SF sites, just their experience, like it was like a French artist sitting in Portugal, or that kind of thing. The culture game itself is this thing where the prize is acceptance or ease of living, I guess. And you go somewhere and you're very foreign, so there's nothing being foreign, but you can't be too foreign. You want to alienate people. So it's the trick is finding that balance. But the trick is, the thing that you may not really mince, is that you have to do that when you go back home too, because now you're in foreign house. You have to be balancing the fact that you lived elsewhere and now quote unquote tarnish your native authenticity, or however you want to phrase it. But that's how it kind of feels, essentially. But yeah, I mean, it's just something to balance. use the advantage however you want, I guess. But it's just something to be aware of, and it's something that has kind of helped me navigate society as well. Yeah, because I mean, by mere fact that you have experience elsewhere puts you at a great advantage. Just in general, Jamaica small, any experience from elsewhere that would be beneficial would be greatly appreciated by people that you're helping out. So, yeah, big man, yo.
Boris, we're almost done. So Joshua, thank you.
Yeah.
I think you shared a lot of gems today. I'm so serious. I think there are things that, yes, apply to creatives, but also to people in general. I think what you just said about just doing the thing that really resonated, and also about if you had the guts to like move away in the first place and set up shop somewhere else, you definitely could do it in reverse. I think those are two small things that you said that have just like big implications, and I hope somebody learned something from Joshua today. So thanks for watching another episode, and we'll see you next time. And if you didn't subscribe, please subscribe right now, okay, and share. And share with others. Alright, thanks so much. Bye. That was so good. Thank you for your time.